Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and this is a yarn chat video. I have a couple, I have for sure one complete finished project, some that are nearly finished, an Amazon purchased, a clarification of something I really feel horrible about, and then I might actually show you guys this whip that I've mentioned a few times in videos, but I forget to ever show you. So I'm going to make sure, nope, that's not in there. I'm going to maybe pause the video, see if I can find the actual project, because I wanted to talk about it with you guys, because it's something that I've been working on for a while. And then I saw somebody post something similar that they were working on. But let's get going with where we're at. Okay, so first of all, you remember a few videos ago that I had gotten that heart attack box by Yarn Hag Ryan, from Ryan. And in there was a bunch of treats that other people had sent her and that she included in there. And after getting that video, I then went and watched a few other people who got the heart attack boxes. If I can remember, I'm going to put my list, because I always forget to write down all the things that I tell you guys. I'll put in the description. I'll put a link in the description to the other people that were mentioned to me that got heart attack boxes, so that you can watch theirs too. So I'm going to put down here, link to heart attack. Hopefully I remember what that note means. So when I was doing so, I saw Terry from Yarn Joy podcast. She got one. So if you already know, you can just pop on over there and watch her. But she got one of these too, and she actually knew what it was, and now I feel super sad and bad that I didn't know what it was. This is from the Crocheting Clogger, and I looked at it. Okay, and so to be fair, the only time I've ever really seen these like little beads, some of my teacher friends call them pony beads. Only time I've ever really seen them is when like kids make bracelets with them and keychains. So my first thought when I saw this is she made me a keychain, because it also has like the keychain loop on there. I was like, oh, well, that's nice, red, white, and blue. It's got some stars on it. Cute keychain. That's what I thought. But then when I watched Terry at the Yarn Joy podcast, she called this a row counter. Yeah, so then I went and pulled mine out, and sure enough, watch this, you guys. This is going to amaze you. Maybe not. Maybe y'all have seen this. You're like, Summer, you are so behind the times. And if so, I am sorry. So this is row 1. You finish your next row. You just slide the beads over. Do you see that? Row 3. And so now you have your row counter here. And I suppose you could hook it to your bag or whatever you have sitting next to you. Maybe even the corner of your project if it's good enough, you know. But isn't that cute? I never... You know, it's just because I think this last year, with being a teacher and then the whole COVID thing and working from home and teaching my own kids and the stress and whatever, I have not been as connected as I would like to have been. And I completely missed the boat on this. This is amazing and super fun. I've never even seen or heard of a yarn counter this way. Do you see this? Or a row counter? So that is amazing. So I wanted to clarify that, because I do remember in the video being a little, you know, like, a keychain, you know, and not, but wow, this is fun. So thank you. I just wanted to clear that up. Okay. And there will be a link in the description to some other people that I was told through you guys who also got these. Okay. Now here is my complete one finished project. I even wove in the ends. This is Mandala baby yarn. Now my Walmart in this whole thing has been very low on stocky yarn, but I wish I would have saved the labels. I have not always been very good about that, and then I started to save them, and then my husband does not like that I leave them lay around the house. And I was wondering if I brought them downstairs, which I did not, but this is still Mandala or Mandala yarn in the colorway Echo. And I did 100% color control this blanket, you guys. I sat there with the 3 cakes, because this is 3 cakes worth of yarn. I cut the yarn at every colorway. Now when you get a little bit close, you'll see, because one of the things that Mandala does is it kind of fades in and out from one color to the other. So there are some areas where this blue isn't, and this green isn't necessarily 100% pure, that one color. You'll kind of see, I wonder if I can find a way, where it kind of gets darker and lighter. You can see right here. You see right in these blues, it kind of gets darker and lighter. And it looks like I didn't do a very good job getting all the green out of that one blue. But for the most part, when you hold it up, you can't tell. Every row is completely all the way around that color. So I took the 3 cakes, I cut them up, I put them into groups of, let's see here, kind of a mid-color blue, a lighter green, a light blue, a darker green, a white, and another kind of a midi, even, I guess, in between the dark green and the light green, a mid green, I don't know. And so I divided up into those colors. So that's how many different colors I had. Then I arranged the balls after I all wrapped them up in those balls from the biggest ball to the smallest ball. Because I knew that in the middle, because when you start with small squares, it's going to look thicker. So I started with the smallest ball and worked to the biggest ball. And they were, to be honest, they weren't that drastically different. They were pretty close, but you could visually see that maybe one. And you know what? Maybe it was because I wrapped one of them tighter than the other. I don't know. And I made the granny square. This, of course, goes all the way back to that traditional granny that I've been working on lately, pretty much all this last 6 months. But I did do something a little different. This is, I would do 2 rows of solid double crochet across, and then on 1 row I would do a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. And I just thought it gave it a little bit different of a look, but it would spin the same pattern. Again, also on this, in order to avoid the chain 3, I would flip my work, and I also would travel, which I have a video coming out, believe it or not, where I show you how I travel to the end to make sure all my chain 3s are on the corner. And when I talk about flipping my work, flipping your work, which you will know, keeps it from looking like you have a right side and a wrong side of your blanket. So I'd maybe do a row or 2 on one side, and then I'd flip, and it gives it a continual look on the other side. Because you know there's always one side of the crochet that looks a little different. So there was no pattern. I just, like I said, I've been obsessed with that granny. I've made 2 baby blankets straight that way. I made a bunch of little grannies that I sewed together. I had those, and it all came originally from that Bella Coco Christmas Crochet Society box where she wanted you to make those gloves with those grannies. That pattern from that granny is what I've been doing this whole year. I just decided to jazz it up and do a row where I skipped a stitch. Then for the border, I did my first ever Picot. Do you see that? I'm so excited. I looked up, I typed into Google, how do you do a Picot? I'll put that video in here. How to crochet a Picot. There'll be a link to the video I watched. Now I will be honest, I didn't necessarily, this video shows you 2 different ways to do a Picot. And I think because I was using Mandala yarn, which is a little bit thinner, and she was using a worsted weight, a few times my Picots came out with like a little hole in the middle, and I wasn't really loving that. But as a whole, you can just see the Picot is just a stitch that has like a little bumpy. And I thought it added nice dimension to the end of my blanket. This is a huge blanket. Like I said, it was 3 cakes. So that is my finished object. It really, you know, sometimes when after I made all those sloths, and I made a lot. I made 4 for my kids, my 4 kids. Then I made 1 for me, which I ended up giving to somebody else. And then I had 2 gals from work who wanted one, and a niece. In fact, I have this last sloth over here. I just have to sew the body together. And it's sitting over here, and I haven't done that. So I was just like, I wanted something that I could just sit on the couch, watch a little TV, little true crime. I've been watching crime. In fact, I was watching the Zodiac Killer movie, just to sit mindlessly crochet. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to make a granny. The reason I like making the granny blankets is because you were assured, because you're crocheting in a square, to always have straight edges. It happens to the best of us. People that have been crocheting for 30 years to 5 years to 2 years, every once in a while you'll end up with those wonky edges because you didn't go all the way to the end. And when you do a granny square blanket, you will always have straight edges because you're going along the side. Okay, something that I ordered from Amazon. I put a link in the description to this. I ordered this off of Amazon because in the package on the thing, it showed that they had noses, and I needed more noses to finish up my last sloth. But sadly, friends, this purchase, the noses that came in this packing, if you could see, are way too small. Even their largest nose, which I believe is over here, is still not as large as I need for this sloth. The thing is this sloth nose comes 4 in a pack at Joann's for $2.49. Not horrible, but when you look at this whole pack of eyes and noses here, this costs $6. So, and this nose also was made in Japan, and so was these. So what I think happens is somebody orders them in bulk, puts them in their little packages, and then makes a ton of money. So I thought, well, I'll just order this. But sadly, these noses are not as big. This is a 15 mm nose. These eyes are also 15 mm. These eyes and nose, and maybe I just didn't read my description. So now I have this full packaging. I mean, I'll use them. I make plenty of amigurumi that I'll use these eyes and noses from here on out. But I still ended up having to go to Joann's and getting the eyes and nose because these ones were too small. So that is what I ordered off of Amazon. I feel like I ordered one more thing, and I don't remember what it was. I can't find it here, so it must not have been really of value, right? Isn't that the truth? Other things that I have been working on. After finishing up the sloths, finishing up the crayon, which I just made a video on. If you want, go one video back, and I made a video about making this from Elise, the Unraveled Llama Unraveled. She designed this pattern. I finished that, and I didn't want to make another sloth because I'm kind of slothed out after making like 8 or 9 of them. I decided, I put a little post in my Facebook group that said, hey, what should I make? And a bunch of you gave me wonderful suggestions. One thing I wanted to make that I'm still looking for is I want to make a dragonfly shawl, but I didn't really want to pay for a pattern. I know I'm cheap. So I was looking for a free one, but I haven't been able to find one yet. So instead I decided to make some hats. I had a coworker that wanted a black hat, but this one looks so big. This might be too big for her head. You see that? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I should fold it and then it's not deep enough. I don't know. So I made this black hat. Oh, that doesn't look so bad. I want to put a pom-pom on it. So I made her hat because she came over so kindly one afternoon and sat and talked with me about how to have a gluten-free, dairy-free diet for Flynn. Because her husband has celiacs. And so she's very good at, you know, where can you go to eat? Because let's face it, we go out to eat. I'm a teacher. Sometimes I work till 4:35. If my husband works a double, who's at home making dinner? No one. And let me tell you what, our crock pot, up until just now, we just got a new one this summer, was burning food. Okay, so anyway, she came over and she told us the wonderful news that Culver's, a Wisconsin-based company, has a gluten-free, dairy-free bun. Praise God. Can I tell you that? Praise God. And so we can order him a gluten-free, dairy-free hamburger. We have his fries put in a separate bag because French fries are cooked with other things that could have gluten in them, even though those don't. But anyway, so to thank her, I made her a hat, and I'm going to put a pom-pom on it, and I got a thank you card. I also decided to join the Lion Brand gang of making a blue hat for no hating. Quite frankly, though, I feel like when I make a hat, I think about all the positivity and warmth and love I give when I donate. So none of my hats, I feel like, come from a place of hate. But if they want a blue one, I'll make a blue one. So I made a blue one, and then I ran out of yarn. I only got halfway through. This pattern, which I'll put a link in the description to, hat pattern, is one I talked about last year. This is not the same one that I made for my second graders. This is a different one. And that's where you crochet this brim. Many of you know you crochet half double crochets or single crochets in the back loop, and you create a strip that you join to make a circle, and then you put your stitches across the top. And then for this one, it is a pattern of, do you see how it kind of has that texture, that dimension of this one row? This is 2 double crochets, 2 half treble crochets in the front post, 2 double crochets, 2 half treble crochets in the front post. And that gives it the look. And the reason that you do the half treble crochets with the double crochets is when you do the front post, it kind of brings it down a little bit. And so this pattern designer wants all the light rows to be completely straight. This hat is looking kind of wonky anyway, because I don't think the brim is big enough to fold up. And then I ran out. So I'm going to frog this, use this with something else. We'll find some kind of hat to make with that. And then this one is still on the skein. I just finished this last night, but I have to like sew up the top. This is the same pattern for all hats. This is one of my favorite yarns ever. This is Yarn Bees Glowing in the colorway Mariposa Prairie. This hat, oh, I have it hidden here. This is actually that same hat pattern, but on this one it's just 1 row. And here is that same. This is glowing also, Yarn Bees Glowing, but this is a different colorway. I don't remember. But it's the same kind where it fades in and out, and it does that striping so nice. This pattern here, and this is the pattern I'll link. I guess for some reason it only has the 1 treble or 1 front post and 2 double. And I guess I must have forgotten that, because when I started making these hats, I gotta unwind it a little bit, I was doing 2 and 2. Do you see that? 2 treble front post. And so this hat here I think is pretty cute. I'll get it on there. It's pretty cute. I'm going to put a pom-pom on this one too. The color lines up nice enough that you don't have that faded right here in the middle. It's kind of to the side. It's a little busier than my color hat usually. Apparently last night I was making big hats. So what was I watching last night? Oh, you know what it is, you guys? I started watching the Karate Kid movies with Jer. It made me so happy. Those are movies from when I was a kid. A couple weeks ago, we were watching the Back to the Future. All 3 of them are on Netflix. And so last night, we started watching the Karate Kid movies. So I'm going to put a link in the description to that hat pattern, but apparently I made it different than what the video. These are the hats that I was making when I said, holy cats, that's a lot of hats. And then instead of cinching it at the top, I do a few row of decreasing, crocheting 2 together, and then I just sew this little part. This is where I put the pom-pom. So yeah, that's really all I have been up to. Do I have any specific things that I need to start making right now? As of right now, I don't think so. I still want to find that dragonfly pattern shawl, and I want to make it with my kobu to make a nice light shawl. I'm going to give that to one of my friends at work. She loves dragonflies, and I just thought it'd be nice to give her a little treat when we go back to, if we go back to school and she comes. But yeah, we still don't know over here in Wisconsin. We still don't know what we're doing. It looks like a link in the descriptions will be to the heart attack boxes, the few other people I know who got one, how to crochet a Picot, and the hat pattern, which I've just said is not necessarily the exact same, but it's the basic idea I was following. Apparently I forgot and modified things. Yeah, so that is all I have in this video. That is what I've been working on this last week. And remember, I'll put a link in the description to this. If this is past July 28th when you see it, then the giveaway's over for that. But just in case, if I get it out before, you can check over on how to get that pattern and participate in her giveaway at Llama Unraveled, not Lava, Llama. All right, thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.